CBC North production.
The CBC program normally seen is not available. In its place, an encore presentation of Focus North, featuring Yukon fiddler Joe Luchin.
Welcome to Focus North. I'm in Whitehorse, and behind me is the 98 Hotel. This is where a legendary Yukon fiddler plays every Thursday. His name is Joe Luchin, and he's more than a musician. He's a machinist, a trapper, an outdoorsman, and a fiddle fixer. And he's a guy with a great sense of humor. This week we take a look at the colorful life of Joe Luchin in his own words.
I managed to get down the Alaska Highway without a cop stopping me. I think my insurance ran out 54 years ago.
What made me want to come north was mountains. I've never seen anything bigger than a Gopher Hill till I was about 20-some years old. Went out, finally left Manitoba, and I saw the mountains. Well, that did it. I said, right there on the spot, I said, I want to go hunting. I want to go live in the mountains. So, back 1963, I guess it was, decided to come up and give it a whirl. Still here.
Whoa, yes!
I started playing the type of music you'd hear right across Canada from one side to the other, so I started right from down the East Coast and just played the different kinds right up to the West Coast.
Oh, yeah?
And Jesus, people loved it. They figured that was great. There are some mighty good musicians come down there, and they're coming down regularly. So we have actually a fairly good group. It's not a group, it's just a throw together, but it's been the same gang over the years. I mean, we don't take breaks hardly. It's bang, 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 one after the other, just continuity, non-stop. If you start going union-wise, well, then you spend more time bullshitting than you do playing, but we don't use microphones, so we can't do that. Oh, it's a high. Oh, you get instruments sounding good and you get feeling good about it. Man, that's the nicest feeling in the world. Just as good as sex. God, I've played 5 days, 5 nights, hardly any stopping at all because it sounded good and it worked. Well, yeah, there's times you get a certain start, you get going, and things that are coming to you, just bang. You're doing things like you've never done before. And this is where the scary part comes in. That's when you have to be into it. Because if you stop for just a split second, even to blow a fart, you've lost it. People, they are the most down-to-earth people I've ever seen in my life. They're real people. They don't try to be what they're not. What you see is what you get, and they tell you what they think. And that's what I like. So I feel I'm the same way. Whoa! That's what happens when you get a drunk sailor here. But the 98 got its own set of problems. The wiring in that building, I think, is probably brought up here on one of the river boats, and it does not hold voltage. So what I use is old tube stuff. People look at it and figure, my God, this stuff built in the 40s. If you went into that place, I think with modern day equipment, you'd be a total disaster. And we're all loaded onto one little plug, which also, some guys in the back room probably running the same line trying to cook a piece of toast on a toaster and keeps blowing breakers in there. You can smell pizza and toast going once in a while. And I'm sure they got one line running the whole place, so. I've tried it all. I took it seriously and did nothing but play, travel. This is back in the prairies. But if we were lucky, we made $5, $2 in a night. We used to play bluegrass. I got playing with a group that toured. We did nothing but tour all the Indian reserves. We hit almost every Indian reserve. It's all reserves up there, not villages, it's reserves. They just loved that kind of stuff. Never complained. So I got sick and tired of living off garlic sausage, draft beer, and highway dust. I mean, everything's gravel and dirt. An old beat-up station wagon, well, I mean, the dust that thick in the back. You sleep in the wagon, you travel all night or all day, set up the next night to play, try to sleep in the vehicle. And we did this for the whole summer. Another thing, you know, I really was surprised. In the prairies, there was food. Every dance you went, always food everywhere, all you could eat. Up here, you couldn't buy food anywhere. It didn't exist. But they drank, they didn't eat. Prairies were the other way around. You ate, then you drank. That's maybe why we lasted a lot longer down there. We got a good belly full, then we went out and played. Here you get a good belly full of booze, then you go and eat. Got into this lifestyle, bush, trapping, hunting. It's always what I wanted, always what I did. And here it wasn't too crowded. I could enjoy it. It's not too bad here yet, but you have to kind of push people away.
Hi.
Hello.
Just about done. The black flies here are really bad. We should maybe take the dog over the lake and get her. She's digging and.
Yeah, it's going to rain pretty quick, so getting the lull before the storm. It seems like she likes doing the things I do. She loves to go camping. She's the outdoor type, and I've always been that way. And she's one heck of a good musician. She's got a terrific ear. And coming from New Brunswick, she's quite familiar with my style of music. Yeah, okay, well, take her a little walk, get some of the bugs off her.
Joe, do you want some breakfast? Some lunch?
Yeah, throw something together. I've got to go out and set a bunch of traps out and rust the other side of them up, so yeah, BLT sandwich or something simple. Yeah, my trapping season starts 1st of November, but I can't usually get in till, sometime as late as Christmas, depending on the rivers. I've got 2 rivers I have to cross, and I can't bridge them, they're too big. So I sometimes get a late start, but maybe if I'm lucky, I'll get in there second week in November or something and make the best of it. But these are conibear traps. I just exchange them with the game department for old leg holes. We're trying to get away from leg hole traps. So these are brand spanking new that I use for martin. But I don't like to have them oily. I prefer to have the rust and stuff on them, because when the snow falls on them, it sticks and it helps a lot. When I want to get into something and really get at it, I have to have just about total isolation on some things. I guess that's from growing up as a kid by myself. I don't think Dad ever knew where I was. I was out in the bush or out in the garden somewhere, making my own toys, doing my own thing. But Dad always said, Joe, you have to have a trade. You just can't be a musician. I mean, that doesn't work in those days. Kind of got involved in machining because actually my trade, I'm an electric motor rewinder, and I'd rewind electric motors, but we had to, when I took my apprenticeship, also I had to do machining. I had to make bearings and turn down shafts and everything else for these electric motors. I've always wanted a lathe, but they're a little hard to come by, and they're a little expensive, so I figured, well, if I could start up a little hobby like a business, do a bit of machining for people, and eventually it might kind of help pay itself off. So they'll come in at wee hours of the morning, something's broken down on their old truck or outboard motor or whatever, and I fix these things up for these guys, and it's kind of nice. And go back into this cupboard here, all these little tools. Well, you have to have all this kind of toys when you're making things. Well, I built all this stuff for the lathe. I never bought anything. I made it all. So the only problem I have is 24 hours in a day isn't long enough. I need more hours, and I like my 12 hours sleep, so it makes it a little rough. Got 'em. Well, some of the problems we have with these black flies around here, I have a way of solving it. Here's a little trick. Here's a nice little favorite song of mine. It's called the Moonlight Waltz, something you can walk along the shore of a lake and just enjoy it. I was brought up working with people in the city, and I entertained, so I was dealing a lot with people, but when I get away from it, I like to be totally away from it. I don't want to have anybody around. When we go camping, we don't tell anybody where we're going. We don't meet with other people. Go on our own and just listen to the world around us. Oh, one time it was a wild, wide open, let hell place loose. I'll tell you, you could do what you wanted, when you wanted. Everybody seemed to like each other. And it was wide open. I mean, there was no shortage of jobs. But over the years, it started to change, and I really don't like a lot of it anymore. It's getting too crowded. But at changing times, I have to learn to live with it. That was built in '69, and I've had it like this, and I've lived in this thing since. But I spent 20-some years in this cabin, most of the time in the winter. It's really served me well. So it's a guest house. Whoever wants to use it, their guess is as good as mine, I guess, how long it's going to stay up. I used to sit for hours and hours right here and just look out on the lake. So peaceful and quiet. I think I enjoyed almost every year that I've been in this place. It's one of my favorite spots. Almost like my own private little area. I came in here, I was supposed to find a life-size mount for black bear for the game department. So they dumped me in here because I knew there was a bear hanging around. Talk about wasting money. Anyway, they dropped me in, and I had, I think, 15 days to find a bear. That same day I got dropped in, I set up a tent Anyway, there was a bear walking right on that hillside. I grabbed the 30-06. I blasted it. It came down and down and down and kaboom, right where my tent was. Into the tent, knocked it over, strung it up, and within about 2 hours, everything's done. Here I got 14 days left. Have nothing to do here. Got no nothing. Just I got an axe and a Swede saw. I figured, I could sure use a little cabin here somewhere just to put the ski-doos in to work on. This has got to be the most beautiful part of the world from what I've seen of the world. Air's clean. The sky is a nice color blue. Where else are you going to find that? You go outside, it's not blue, it's gray, it's hazy. You can step from something nice and peaceful like this right into a raunchy, smoky, stinky, noisy bar, and you think you're right back in the big city. Half an hour later, you can be right back here in an aircraft, not even know you were anywhere.
Room in your guest cabin?
We have all kinds of room. You're going to do a little moose hunting, are you?
If I may.
Well, you should have been here 2 days ago. You could have got one right on this point, right there.
Is that right?
Son of a bitch walked out in the lake. You think you'd go away? No.
That's what kind I'm looking for, a smart one. A week ago, maybe, there was one making a bit of noise over Rosie Lake.
Rosie Lake,
Yeah. And,
yeah, it's over now, I think. This guy was grunting as he was walking.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so he was still in it. Coffee's ready, Tom. It's just getting brewed, and there's...
Okay.
I just had a cup there. Where? But I still have my little escapes. I go out to the trap line where I only run into the odd snow machine once in a while, but I can move back another 20 miles past that, so I'm back to what I like to do. Expenses plus some, but now the prices have pretty well took a dip, and we have this anti-fur stuff, which makes it a little more awkward. So we have to spend a lot more money to get things done. But I still love to be out there in the bush, just to see the real world, what it was like. It never changes out there. It's always so peaceful and quiet. I would just love to move right out to the trap line and spend 12 months a year out there, but it's not feasible. Can't do it. So I'm sort of in between maybe the best of both worlds, far enough out of town to not have to tolerate all the noise, and still close enough where we need supplies and stuff. I dread that city. I don't go there. I go there one night a week to play at the 98 bar, pay some bills, pick up my supplies, and then I'm right back out to the trap line. would just play all day, every little spot you could, and if your body allowed, you'd play almost all night. Then by the time the bars closed, someone would want to have a party. Some bunch of idiots from CBC would get together in some room somewhere, and they decided they wanted to stay up all night. So next thing you know, you got 5 or 6 of them up there, and oh, come on, let's play some more. One guy's passed out, another guy's trying to play a guitar, and he can't even see it. So we'd quit and stagger down the streets. Of course, it didn't matter. There was drinking on the streets then. So you just play as you're going. It was all acoustic, no electrics. Whoever could play anything, they'd get together, and we'd move to another bar. They'd pass a hat around or something. I'd have this stupid hat on. They'd jam it up with bills and everything, throw it on my head. Of course, as soon as I stepped out the door, I used to just take my hat off. All the kids would be standing in the front of these places, and they knew there was people coming out, falling down, and change falling out of their pockets. I just dumped my hat out as I was walking, and all this bills and change would go rolling up and down the sidewalks.
Thank you.
Well, people figure that all I do is play fiddle, but that's not really the case. I've actually started more by studying violins and helping people build them. I've even tried building my own up to a point, but I never completed them. So I decided, instead of trying to build violins and have a shop completely set up for it, I just do little repairs. So it actually does use up a lot of my time, but it's another hobby. And it works together with the music. I meet people that have old violins, and they all think they own a genuine Strat, so they bring it over, and I tell them, well, it's just something that was bought at T. Eaton's back in the 30s. And of course, they'll never talk to me again after I say that, because they figure it's worth $1 million. And that's how I collect all these violins, and I've collected an awful lot of them over the years, and I've given away an awful lot. Now, this violin is built in 1748. The German violin maker built this. It's an original, but it can't be classified anymore as an original violin because, somebody didn't like something about the varnish on the back, I suppose, and they did a very bad job on finishing it. People tinker with these violins and they destroy them. It's a pity because they really be nice if they could have kept them original shape. Well, I've been here for 30 years, and there's more than 20 people, and I'm sure that want to come to my wedding. So our list got bigger and bigger. We figured, well, we can't do that. Can't afford to go anywhere else. We said, well, the only other way is if the manager of the 90 hotel would let us play during the rendezvous at the same time, get married there, get it all into one nutshell. It'd be simple. That way, everybody's welcome. They can come in if they can get in. So we're kind of off the hook. It's the one way of sneaking out of it, I'd say.
You got a good crowd there today.
Yeah. Oh, it's always packed in this place. My contract.
Yes.
That's her ring, I guess. It won't fit me, so it must be hers. Yeah, I remember buying that thing.
Were you planning to start it right at 1 o'clock?
Well, as soon as Brenda gets here, I guess.
Okay. You're looking well.
Oh, I've been busy.
Yeah.
Crap, well, keep you in shape. Yeah. gonna go and get married.
Good morning to you.
For as much as Joe Luchin and Brenda McCain have this day pledged their love and promised to live faithfully together, and rings were given as a token of that pledge, then by the virtue of my authority as a justice of the peace in and for the Yukon territory, I now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Cut my fingers off, won't be playing nothing. That's your piece. I just want to thank everybody for everything they did for coming out, and especially for the people at the 98 bar, the management. If it wasn't for them, you'd have to be somewhere at Marsh Lake standing out there in the snow. I'd like to be able to still keep on trapping. I'd still like to be able to tour the territory. Wife hadn't got to see that much of it, so the idea is to take her to all these places if I could, where I've been and seen. And there's lots of places where she came from I want to go see. I want to get down to the East Coast and see what it's like down there. I've never been down there, so get to see some of the real fiddle players.
This profile was produced by Tookie Mercredi and Tony Wade of our Yukon Bureau. That's our show for this week. Thanks for watching. I'm Paul Andrew. As